Okay, so it's no secret that in the past couple of days, the Eastern Conference, it's been getting quite hefty. The Milwaukee Bucks added superstar guard Damian Lillard to team up with Giannis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and the likes. But with that being said, they lost their championship guard. Jrue Holiday, he's gone to rival team, the Boston Celtics, as the Miami Heat tried to acquire both of them. But with that being said, this offseason, these two teams have made quite the moves. The Celtics bringing in Porzingis and Jrue, obviously, and now the Milwaukee Bucks bringing in Dame, but losing and being compromised with the loss of Jrue Holiday. What did you kind of make out of these moves, and who do you reckon? I guess the season hasn't started, but looking at the teams, who runs the East in your eyes as of now?
It's a tough question. It's a really tough question, I think. I'll start with the Bucks. Anytime you can add, like I said previously in the last discussion we had, anytime you can add a top 5 scorer in the NBA and a guy who, immediately as he crosses half court is a threat to score the basketball, that's just a dangerous sight for any team to add, especially one with or pairing it with a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it's the perfect duo. I think they complement one another. They complement each other's games. Think about this. You can't just build a brick wall. You can't build that wall in the paint anymore for Giannis because, he can just kick it out to Dame. And I highly doubt they're going to just leave Dame out there either. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You can't stop one without letting the other one go. And, when you throw in guys, I'm just going to pull up the depth chart here. If you throw in guys like Malik Beasley and you can get the best out of him and, you can get him to, show flashes of that 20-point per game scorer that he was when he was at the T-Wolves and, even at times at the Utah Jazz. And then if you can have a breakout season from Marjon Beauchamp and Chris Middleton comes back to, after that year that he had where he was unhealthy and, we didn't probably see the best of Chris Middleton and there's question marks whether he can get back to that all-star level. That's going to be a very interesting proposition for the Bucks to actually see whether, they can get back to that that championship level Chris Middleton, that pre-injury Chris Middleton, and can he return and be that potent scorer that we know and a difficult guy to guard at all 3 levels. Obviously, we know what to make of Giannis. In terms of Brook Lopez, he was a top 3 defender in the NBA last year, a guy that can, block shots, hit threes. I think, he's really good in that drop coverage that they do play. So I think if he can maintain that consistency and that form that he showed last year and basically was almost a career year for him, then that's going to be a tremendous help to what they bring, alongside guys like Damian Lillard, as mentioned, and Giannis. And then Jay Crowder, if he can get back to that bubble form that he showed and the form that he had with the Phoenix Suns, I think that could definitely help replace the void left by a guy like Jrue Holiday on the defensive side of the ball. And then I haven't forgotten about Bobby Portis, who obviously can, be that energy guy off the bench. He's that heart and soul in terms of the intensity that, he does bring onto the court night in, night out. So I think, in terms of the depth side of it, I do like the Bucks' depth a little bit more than I do with the Celtics' depth. But in terms of, obviously, their starting 5 and how potent that Celtics starting 5 can be with guys like Jrue Holiday and Derek White, as mentioned previously. You said that, they're arguably the best defensive backcourt in the league, and you can't forget that they can both, get their own when their number's called. And obviously Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, all NBA first team caliber players, and if they can continue to play at that level and play off each other, and as long as Jaylen Brown doesn't have post-contract signing blues with obviously him signing that massive $300 million deal, as long as he can live up to that and continue to play the way he did and not have a plateau in his production, then that's going to play a big part. And we know what to expect from Jason Tatum. I think after years of failure, not making it to the finals and losing, and then obviously not getting to the finals last year, I think he'll be out for a vengeance this year. I think the only big question mark for me in terms of what the Celtics have added this year is Porzingis. I think, he had a career year, but again, it was on a Washington team, didn't make the playoffs. Could you consider it an empty stats kind of guy? Possibly. And then to add into that he's, hasn't been healthy. His time with the Dallas Mavericks, his time with the Knicks, they're all, full of injury-riddled seasons. Can he play second fiddle, third fiddle to guys like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, even to a guy like Jrue Holiday? But if Peyton Pritchard can step up, Sam Hauser, Jordan Walsh can add some of those front court minutes that will be, added into the mix now with Robert Williams gone. I think it's going to be a very, very tough team to stop. But again, all it takes is one injury to a guy like Porzingis, and then obviously with the aging Al Horford, that's another question mark. Can he sustain a full season at the age that he is? And there's still a lot of question marks there. As much as I want to say the Celtics have the edge, I want to give it to the Milwaukee Bucks, because I think Dame's got this point to prove now that he can go to another organization and be in a winning situation. Giannis will come out with a vengeance. We saw the comments he made about not wanting to train with other guys and not being a fan of guys who train with other players and are acting all buddy with them. I think he looks ready to go. He looks absolutely jacked. I saw at media day, it looks like he put on about 10 kilos of muscle, and like his biceps bigger than my head. Like he's literally as shredded and as jacked as I've seen him in his whole career. And then working with Hakeem Olajuwon, that's just going to add to the mix. So I think this is going to be a really, really incredible matchup if it does get to the point where they make the Eastern Conference Finals. But I'm going to give the edge slightly to the Bucks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is very casual of me, but when you look at the starting fives, we'll just go over it very quickly. You got Jrue, Dame, probably Derek White, Pat Connaughton, Jaylen Brown, Chris Middleton, Tatum, Giannis, Brook Lopez, and Porzingis. That's starting five. They are very evenly matched. Like, I don't know who to go off that, but I have to agree with you, because when you look at the Bucks depth chart, like you mentioned before, Malik Beasley, I think he can step up in a role that he has done before at Minnesota, at Utah, at Denver, and has been very successful there. Obviously, he's been in his fair few off-the-court dramas recently, but I think he will go back to being that player that he once was. Marjon Beauchamp, going into his sophomore year, he can step up into a new role. He gets more minutes, I think he's almost like a baby Giannis out there. If he can develop more of a jump shot, he's going to be a very good threat for them. But yeah, it's for me, I think the one thing that the Bucks would kind of need, there are guys on the open market like Josh Christopher, Will Barton, Terrence Davis that they could go after. Even a guy like John Wall. And on the Celtics' behalf, like I mentioned in the previous video, I think they need more front court depth. So guys like Bismack Biyombo, Dwight Howard, Boogie Cousins, Vernon Carey, even a guy like Serge Ibaka who's in the EuroLeague, they could use a guy like that, because I wouldn't be bidding on Kristaps, who hasn't been healthy, an aging Al Horford and Luke freaking Cornett to carry my front court moving forward. And I don't think Tatum or Brown are ready to take that step to guard power forwards or centers in this league. Like, I think if they match up against a guy like a Jalen Duren, those guys, Tatum and Brown, are getting absolutely torched. So on that behalf, I can't take him over the Milwaukee Bucks.
Hello, yes, you at home. This is Commissioner of the NBA speaking to you, Adam Silver. Here's a message in courtesy of BenchMob in collaboration with the NBA Store. When BenchMob hits 1,000 subscribers, they'll be giving away a free NBA jersey to a lucky subscriber. So just do all the things listed on the screen. Goddamn.